Accuracy Third. I'm Rex.
I'm Beth.
And I'm DDay. And this is the first burn barrel we're doing in a while. Rex tells me we've done one since Neverending Season 5.
Yes.
But we haven't done like 30 of them.
No.
Like we did back in Neverending Season 5.
It's been enough time and space that it doesn't feel like the sinking depression of COVID.
I strongly suspect you'll be numbering this one BB02.
We did one already this season?
Yeah, man.
Wild.
Yeah.
Good for us. I work all the time and absorb none of it. How is that?
You know what it is? This has been just such a dynamite season. It's easy to forget the throwaway thing we did.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That sounds good to me.
Aren't we a delight? Aren't you guys, the listeners, so interested in us as opposed to interesting people talking about Burning Man? I'm so glad you're hanging out with us. I can't believe you listened to Season 5.
There wasn't much else. I can't take comfort in it because I was in it. But I imagine people who were not in Rex's bedroom in the dusk recording a podcast with the only two other people out of the 2.5 people I saw for 3 years. That's what depression is.
Yeah, it was really depressing.
Oof.
Oh, God. I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast, but
I hurt. I ache all the time.
at the listener appreciation party in 2022, the first year that we were back, one of the listeners was like, Beth, you sound so much better. You just sounded really like sad on the podcast. And I'm like, oh God, it's so weird that you're telling me about my mental health in ways that I hadn't figured out yet. That's a lot. Thanks.
That's cute. Beth actually slapped him and was like, don't you fucking talk about my mental health. You look sad.
I think I might have to take it back. I think we just did an afterburn.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
First burn barrel.
We do an afterburn every year. We might have done a burn barrel last summer. Someone on the Discord will tell me within 15 minutes of this episode being released, even though the thing that I just said doesn't show up until like 30 minutes into it.
Beth and I were looking at the YouTube channel version of our podcast earlier, and I thought I saw a burn barrel from this season, but I may have just been looking at last season because the order on there is all
Wanky.
Yeah, it's all higgledy-piggledy.
Mm-hmm. That's how YouTube do.
By the way, listeners, if you're
on
friends
YouTube,
with somebody who doesn't listen to podcasts the normal way that normal people do on their phones.
Like if you have a weird Gen X friend who just watches YouTube.
Or a weird...
My phone only has one app.
A weird Gen Z friend.
Who just watches YouTube.
Yeah, you can now get all of our podcasts on YouTube if YouTube is your jam.
Yeah, but if you would like to cut up our podcast and somehow remix it on TikTok, I hear we're getting huge that way in South Korea.
Yeah, but weirdly enough, they think we're a tech review podcast.
Late Bus, if you can produce a song for us where I say huge in South Korea, like over and over and over again, that would be great. Thank you.
We're allowed to make requests of Late Bus?
Well, we'll find out. This is the first one. I mean, probably. I don't like to push my luck when people are doing really nice things for us, like helping us produce our art. But, oh, hey, Late Bus. It's probably embarrassing, the three of us doing this in front of our entire audience. But Beth and Rex and I would kind of like to go steady with you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a ring. It is sticky.
We're going to give him a sound bed cock ring. I'm sorry. I'm talking about you in the third person, even though you're right in front of us. I'm going to give you a sound bed cock ring.
This is such a convoluted metaphor.
I don't know. I think Beth and I landed
allegory.
It's sticky. It's a sound bed. It's a cock ring. It's for going steady.
It is an allegory. It is not a metaphor. It is complex.
This is a pretty convoluted allegory.
This guy's talking like he never saw Chicken Run. It's about Nazis, Rex.
I never saw Chicken Run.
It's not great.
I hear it's about Nazis, like Kevin Spacey.
No, like Kevin Spacey's dad. Comma, practicing Nazi. Come at me. All right, now that all the fun stuff is out of the way, we got to get down to brass tacks. We got to do some serious business. Beth.
Yeah.
When did you learn how to juggle?
I have never learned how to juggle.
Moving on.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be easy. I like this.
I mean, this is one that I made up on the spot right now. Nobody asked us.
Damn it.
To ask you when you learned how to juggle. Friends, compatriots, listeners, this is the first and potentially last Ask Accuracy 3rd Anything episode, wherein we asked our Discord about a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I'm really bad with how time works, but I created a channel called Ask A3rd Anything, and everybody did. And today is the day that I look on my phone and I ask every single question that any of our Discordians posted in the channel.
Hail Eris.
Yeah, it sounds so much better when you put it that way.
AATA.
Discordians?
Yeah.
No,
It's a great term. Yeah, you should use it more. All right, should we say people's names? Should we let our listeners know how many of just a handful of our friends asked us questions?
No, I think if you allow the illusion that it's a lot of people and not just Brace.
Okay, sometimes I'm going to have to say names. Seeing as how we just asked Late Bus to go steady with us, Late Bus asked us a question today, made it in just under the wire.
ooh, last minute work is the best.
Yep. Late Bus wonders, why'd y'all stop doing the cut-in edits where someone explains something said during a podcast? In season 1, a voice would pop in and explain something as it comes up. And in more recent seasons, you folks will explain in the front or back of the episode instead, which is fine, I guess. I just appreciate the style of cut-in edit. Well, Late Bus, I'll let Beth answer that second. But first, I would like to say I'm not very good with hitting the mark button as I'm listening to the podcast while I'm editing it. So for me to do an effective cut-in, I would A, have to know where to cut the information in, and B, have the temerity of essence to come into the studio by myself to record me or Rex or Beth say 3 lines and then put that on the server and then download it from the server onto my laptop and then take the laptop into work and then do that at work instead of doing my day job.
Yeah, Late Bus, I just want to let you know that we don't do it because it's kind of hard. And, this is a lot of work already. I came into the podcast having a lot of desire to explore the audio design aspect of podcasting because that's my background. It's in sound design for theater, of all things. And I really wanted to make it dynamic, and I really was interested in how to make it sound like a real podcast. And then I got really tired and bored, and DDay's the editor now.
And I never wanted to edit audio ever again since college, but I do.
I also think that I think it's an improvement, honestly. I think the thing that I think you and I both kind of had in mind when we were developing this project was slightly more NPR sounding,
I was going to chant
Radio
NPR
Labby
into the microphone too.
But I don't think the way that the stories present themselves to us really lends itself to that. I think the right choice is trusting our guests to sketch the story out the way they do.
Yeah, and also, to be honest, we all just know all the jargon now, so we can't tell when you need to know stuff. We're all so insider baseball. When this started,
Beth doesn't listen to the interviews at all. I've learned nothing, Beth, in 8 years of doing this.
When we started, I had to stop them all the time because I'd volunteered 1 year, 2 years, and I had gone 4 years, and I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about all the time. And now I do, so now I don't do the good work of taking care of our new listeners.
But listeners are welcome to reach out to us at accuracy3rd@gmail.com and ask us any lingering questions about things that you heard in our episodes. Or you can Google things on Reddit or reach out to us at Blue Sky, where we are taking questions about shit that we haven't explained. You can send me a message, and I will @Rex in that message, and he can explain it to the both of us.
Next question.
Rex, this is a question for Brace. When are you doing a Resto Crew episode?
Oh, it's a fine question.
We had an opportunity this year that we had never had before, which is DA was going to fucking record with us, and then everything.
But then it rained for 5 years.
And then everything went to shit, and we didn't get a chance to record with DA. And it is, I would say, in my top 10 regrets of heavy regrets of 2023.
I'm sure we will have the opportunity this year to ride around in Dark Angel's buggy and get Dark Angel's
Not if you keep using his like government name like that. Come on.
I've known him for so long, I had no idea. Like, DA sounds official. That sounds like a fucking title.
He's the head of Playa Resto.
He is Dark Angel.
And Dark Angel sounds like the guy who checks you in at a rave.
Yeah, nothing. Hey, DA, if you're listening to this, I am not throwing any shade at you at all.
No, you're
But when I was
the best
in
of
college,
us.
there was a dude who posted Lord Chaos on his door, and like LC is a lot more officious than Lord Chaos.
We've talked about going out there and recording with Resto, but we've been really burnt out after Burning Man. God bless Resto's hearts.
and also often quite busy.
Yeah.
Beth's school year starts right then.
Before I get back from Burning Man.
Yeah, right after Burning Man, I have a relationship with my son.
But it's absolutely our intention to get one done. God bless Resto.
Yeah.
And leave no fucking trace.
Thank God for them. Holy shit, what a year for them, too.
Hopefully we'll hear all about it in season 8.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna step up on soapbox here for just a sec because it's
Yeah, why the fuck don't one of you interview DA?
I just want to point out that it's been a really fucking rough Resto the past couple of years, and it's really like inarguably the most important of the 10 principles is that we leave no fucking trace. And that really needs to be a reinforced core part of the mindset of every person whose ears are listening to this right now. Like when you're out at night or during the day on Playa doing whatever it is you're doing,
leave nothing but backpacks.
Come back to your camp with your pockets full.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Pick up trash.
Eyes down, moop as you go.
Do you know what mooping will get you? Free drinks everywhere.
Well, sometimes like someone will pull the moop away from you and they're a dick. But at least you made some people laugh. Not that one dick, but like all the other people who saw you. Their humor is genuine and honest.
Yeah, and if you see people fucking mooping, thank them and remind yourself to moop.
Yeah.
It's mooping. You don't want people to moop. You want
it is never the wrong time for an impromptu moop sweep of the entire block.
We want DA to be our friend.
We do want DA to be our friend.
We want Burning Man to continue being able to happen in the Black Rock Desert, and we can't keep like having near misses on the inspection. It's not good. We need to be trending in the right direction.
All right, that's serious.
Yeah, that was a little
Fine.
serious.
Yeah, like I don't.
This was the second fucking question.
Yeah.
And we got
this
like
podcast
30 of
to
these.
serious spots, but fucking leave no trace, motherfuckers. Next question.
Yeah.
Next question, please.
This one is from Oh No, a username, which, if I'm not mistaken, is another one of our listeners who
I
we
just
named
emailed-
Stage Dive.
I just emailed that person.
Oh, yeah. They're coming out for an interview. Good.
Yes.
Hey, Stage Dive, it's you. Come out for an interview. She asks us a twofold question. One, did you do any performance art things out on Playa last year? I have heard lots of great ideas mentioned on the pod. Rex, did you do any performance arts last year?
Yeah, I performed Getting a Thorough Night's Sleep over and over and over again. It's my finest work to date.
Yeah, Beth was doing pratfalls.
You wouldn't believe how many dark circles weren't under my eyes.
I fell down several stairs. That is very funny from the outside.
I did some really fun surfing.
What?
We'll call it surfing.
Oh, where you slid and your arms went? And
Where I stood on what seemed to be a solid foam tile, but it wasn't a surfboard, which carried me all the way across my
Floating.
I forgot about that. Oh, that's why you keep bringing shit like that floating up. I get it. Cool. Yeah, and I don't perform on Playa. It's great. I have no urge at all. It's delightful. I love it. Second part of the question, will D-Day rock the garbage bag with suspenders look on Playa next year, even if it doesn't rain?
You mean plumpers?
Yeah.
There's a technical term for this.
Is D-Day going to slip into his plumpers? I think we all know he will. If you're lucky, I will wear my plumpers to the listener appreciation party. But if I don't want to actively be sweating through my shorts at the listener appreciation party, I won't.
Dude, you should stitch a back pocket onto one of them and then embroider on that back pocket plumpers.
Done. like already done. Like weeks ago, I did that.
Next question.
Yeah.
Okay, our next question. When was the time on Playa where not finding what you wanted led you to finding something amazing? Beth, do you remember the time you went to Playa to not find love? And lo, did love find you anyway?
That's not actually fair because I already had a pretty big crush on Rex when I went to Playa. I had written about it in my journal, so I knew what was up. Honestly, Andy is probably the thing that I didn't want to find and didn't enjoy finding and then became one of the best things in my life.
Well, we can all say that about our friend Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy is the best unexpected thing about Burning Man.
And
persistent. Delightful, but unyielding. Friendship. It was friendship. Rex, is your answer friendship?
No.
Well,
Or are you waiting for me to expand?
No, you don't have to. We can talk about this during our trust ceremony.
Why don't you go? What's your answer, Mr. Man, Mr. In the Room?
I think the best gift I got from Burning Man that I didn't expect to get from Burning Man was Burning Man. Like, I did not think I was going to be into this event in the way that I am. Like, I knew it was going to be cool. I thought it was going to be kind of pretentious and off-putting in a certain kind of art party sort of way. But it's more than you can conceive of at any minute. We all know what it is. I thought I was too cool for it or too good at camping or something for it to be the struggle in multiple quadrants that it is. But I think a lot of that is how it was presented to me as a thing that everyone knew I would love. I don't want to hear that.
But what if you're wrong?
Well, I mean, I'm older now.
Yeah.
I want to hear that.
Yeah.
That's what 45 means.
I want you to show me things that I will love.
Yeah. I'm open to new experiences, like Threelationships.
I gotta say, it was the time we tried to get a sauna and instead got a sunburn and an interminable wait in line and a
Horrifying experience.
But you're forgetting how drunk we already were, right?
Why would I forget that?
I'm just making sure that that's the day we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
A very brief, awful, wet experience, a chintzy amount of lotion, and to give a sticker to Alex Gray.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day.
In the middle of that was the Hug Deli, which is still one of my favorite. We stopped at
We did stop at the Hug Deli.
and it was the cutest fucking hug I've ever experienced. It was the highlight of that horror. And the other highlight of that horror was like 2 hours later when we'd all taken a nap and had some water, laughing about it.
We were so dehydrated.
They yelled at me in line. I did not know what was going on, and suddenly everyone thought I was angry. But you, dear listeners, know that I just sound like this. This is emotion. All right. Good time. I love this game. Let's do this again.
Next question.
Yeah.
Beth, what is the worst thing you ate or drank on Playa?
I mean...
And was it at the firehouse?
Oh, I see. The worst thing I drank on Playa is absolutely something that DDay mixed for me at the firehouse. You know how sometimes when there's bars and there's no one behind them, someone can go behind them and start doing a bar? You were invited, I'm pretty sure.
I wasn't invited. Well, I went behind the bar. Within like 90 seconds, I was escorted out from behind the bar and placed in front of the bar where he asked for a drink. And I asked for a drink, and he didn't know where things were or how to make drinks. So I very quickly convinced him that that's why I should be the one behind the bar. And he agreed with me. And that was great. And then I started serving drinks with complete confidence and nothing to mix drinks with.
Just champagne and beer.
There was no beer. It was like champagne and whiskey and like gin and some Sprite.
It like tasted like licking like a mat that catches spills in a bar. And it was a full fucking mug of it.
Yeah. I gave you a healthy pour. They had ice and they had champagne on tap.
Ounces. But thankfully there was another random guy there who was like, I'll drink it, and seemed to like it.
He was excited for it.
Yeah, I would have felt bad throwing out all of that like booze.
He might be somebody who like really likes a Long Island iced tea.
I don't think that tasted anything like a Long Island iced tea.
No, I'm pretty sure there was peach schnapps in it, or like a different schnapps that is also a stone fruit, like maybe nectarine schnapps, apricot schnapps.
You can't imagine how large this drink was. It was so big.
I think it was like 16 ounces. It was like a full mug.
It was the plastic mug that was my cup for a while.
Rex, you put anything horrendous in your mouth at Burning Man?
Malort.
Oh yeah.
And then the hog's brains at the Gut Hut were actually better than I anticipated them being. And the
raw or cooked?
Oh, cooked. Beth. You can't be serving people raw brains on Playa.
The squid was more disgusting than it needed to be, but just because it was oversalted. The uterus was probably the worst.
Of what creature?
A hog. Sow, I guess.
Gross.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so chewy.
Ugh.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fat in that muscle tissue.
It's not muscle tissue. It's just
like fascia.
Yeah, basically.
Beth, you're full of sacks.
Honestly,
You're full of sack.
Yeah,
if you'd
totally
not full thin and thrown it in some hot oil, it'd probably become chicharrones. But as served, just a hunk of gristle, a nasty hunk of gristle.
Ew. Great. Sweet.
I don't think well, that's not true. I've eaten in commissary. The worst thing I've eaten on Playa is the one time that I didn't leave commissary immediately after arriving to commissary for lunch and finding out that we were having like spaghetti and meat sauce. I don't really like red sauce to begin with, but I don't want noodles when it's hot. But nothing gross. Gross drinks. Yeah, everybody has gross drinks. I've told it on the podcast before. I will tell it on the podcast again. Tomato schnapps. Tomato schnapps from Calexidus. Horrendous. I was gesticulating with one hand, pretending to drink it, and then I mixed up the hand that had my Jameson with the hand that had my tomato schnapps in it, and like sweet marinara liqueur.
Ugh.
Yep, but like not with any like herbaceous notes to it, just like crushed tomato flavored liqueur.
No, thank you.
No. So I guess that's something that like I kind of ate because it's
because you drank
marinara.
the grossest thing I ate and then drank was a pile of spaghetti with meat sauce, followed by a bitter cactus milkshake.
Oh my God.
Oh yes. Oh, the worst. It's the only time I've like thrown up in a bad way at Burning Man. Like had to clean up my mess afterward, kind of thrown up.
Not throwing up in a good way, throwing up in the bad way.
Yeah, you like didn't make it to the potties, kind of like, oh no, I'm throwing up now, kind of way.
Yeah, like not throwing up into a bowl full of pretzels.
They were goldfish.
Nice.
No, like, I'm gonna throw up. Just like, oh, I'm throwing up now.
Yeah. That'll happen to you sometimes.
Yeah, the cactus is rough. Don't recommend. Not at Burning Man anyway. Next question.
What I do recommend is our friend Front Tug. Front Tug. Thank you for the Discord, buddy. It's great. We love the Discord. You were right. I guess you should have been hounding me like much harder the past 2 or 3 years. But thank you for finally getting through to me. And everyone else, join the Discord. We're asking us questions on the Discord. Rex, what is the best advice you've ever gotten on Playa?
Trying to remember you're one of the cool kids now.
Huh.
It's what my ranger mentor told me at the end of my...
Took the sheen off of that immediately. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's...
Sweet.
Yeah. It's not a thing I think about. But maybe if I did, I would know what to say to people in bars when I don't know what to say to people in bars. Except what I would be thinking about is, hey, do you guys think we're the cool kids now? And that's why nobody talks to me in bars. Beth, who talks to you in bars?
Who does? I like that story a bunch. Going to Burning Man for the first time was the first time I was like, oh shit, I'm cool. Like, oh, neat. But I, to be honest, the best advice I've ever gotten is not that Porto.
But you looked at it anyway, didn't you?
You know, you got to check.
Best advice was written on the Porto wall. Fuck hard!
Fuck hard!
Yeah, it's good advice. Best advice I ever got on Playa. Not to make any permanent decisions there.
Oh, yeah, like a wait period afterward.
Well, this is something my grandfather taught me when I was much younger. But like, when you are angry or you are amped up about something, yeah, you're going to have a whole lot of decisions. Give it a day. And in terms of Burning Man, like, give it a week or 3.
Yeah, because Burning Man is like 100 days long and only lasts 6 hours. So,
yeah.
Like, relax.
Yeah. Whether you are imbibing substances or not, and an altered space is an altered state. And don't get married at Burning Man. Get married 3 weeks after Burning Man. It is still too soon.
You can get married at Burning Man because you're unlikely to have it be done legally instantly. Go ahead, have a party.
I am very competent, Beth.
It's Nevada.
Yeah, I can find a notary anywhere.
You can actually like legally marry somebody against their will there.
Casey had to go into Gerlach to get a notary.
Look, I love Casey as much as the next guy.
You need a notary to get married in Nevada.
Yeah, you need a porta potty.
You can like point at 2 people and say, "Do you?" And if they go, "Huh," then they're married.
And you've just changed their phone plan, and now you're charging them $15 a minute. That's pretty good. Now, counterpoint. What is the quote-unquote best advice you thought you got on Playa that turned out to be the worst? For Beth, it's make sure you wrap your wrists tight.
Oh. Thank you for answering that one for me.
You're welcome. I don't have one for me, but that's yours. You know, once I was told to hang back and not do anything and be professional, and an issue was going to be resolved on my behalf, and that wasn't true.
Don't subtweet.
But it was still good advice.
Nah, I got nothing.
Yeah, nothing but good advice.
I don't reckon I get a lot of advice.
I might. I'm probably not paying attention.
Next question.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for a long one?
Sure.
Okay.
If, through some weird dimensional time vortex, you found yourself in the first few Black Rock desert burns in the late 80s and early 90s, and were part of the inner circle with Larry Harvey and the BM org founders, knowing what you know now, what would you have the org do differently to change the future of the burn and burn culture?
I mean, like, do we get to just wave a magic wand, or do we have to influence them into this change?
Politics, Beth. They want to know politics and tactics and actions.
All right, I'm going to make mine simple and clear. I would push them to have roads before those people got killed.
Good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, it's kind of not fair because the like straightforward, rational answer is plan for explosive growth.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of maximalist. That's, know the whole future.
Well, yeah, and you say that like they could have.
Right.
Like you could tell them, and then that's a skill set they had.
It would still inform their decision making in a useful way.
Might have gotten those roads sooner.
Make a plan for what you're going to do when demand exceeds capacity.
Yeah, guys, you're going to keep thinking you've got this ticket situation handled, and you don't.
Or plan for 2 years of not being able to do the event because of an unforeseeable global pandemic.
Look, burn everything at the end of 2019. It is going to be full of rats anyway. Yeah, you can put it up into the air. No one's driving.
Invest in pontoon boats.
I think I would have implored Larry Harvey to take the man and the theme and the trappings a little less fucking seriously. The man is iconic, but it is not an icon. And if no one gets hurt, who gives a shit if it gets burned down early? And if someone puts a neon smiley face in it, like, who gives a shit? This is a fucking anarchist party. Calm down. Just because you're in the seat of tech doesn't mean you have to act like a founder.
Yeah, maybe I would have mentioned something about racialistic comics about camping.
A caravansary is a cargo cult, Beth.
Hey, you know that guy, Paul? He needs help.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's too many names on that list.
There's so many. Not that I'm going to wipe my prior comments away, but the thing that we do as the founders of Burning Man in the Black Rock Desert in the late 80s and early 90s, the first couple times we're doing this is so special and so ripe with the opportunity for transformation, not just for us or this space, but for everyone who comes here. And we should not be exploiting people to make this dream something that can scale as fast as we let it. We should do this in a much more egalitarian fashion where it is owned by more of the community than it is owned by us.
So you're going to do anti-capitalist training for them?
In the late 80s, early 90s, Beth, yes.
All right, you guys, this is going to sound wacky, but hear me out. I need $50 from each of you. We're going to place a prop bet. Donald Trump becomes president of the United States. Trust me.
And you know what? I'm going to narrow it down to the month. In November. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, and then COVID hit.
Next question.
All right. What was your best day on Playa? Or what was your worst? Please explain, show your work, etc. It doesn't say or what was your worst, but like, I don't know, either orsies.
That's just such a big question.
I have definitely had like a really profoundly lonely night or two on Playa. I don't know if it was my worst. I don't know that I've had a worst night on Playa. I spent a lot of time one night last year drafting like a 2,000 or 3,000 word email. That wasn't great. I was up till like fucking 5:30 or 6 in the morning doing so. I went to bed early that night because I was tired and upset. That wasn't great.
I don't know if it's my worst, but it's one that sticks out as sucking, was when I finally arranged my life in such a way that I could stay and do some of strike. It was going to be my longest time on Playa ever. I was looking forward to doing the other half of the work. And first day of strike rolls around, and like as soon as the day starts to get a little warm, I start to get a little dizzy. And then I like almost pass out while bending over because I have developed some kind of head and chest infection. And that was the end of my attempt to strike.
Because of the COVID.
No, this was not COVID. That was the same story again. But like, I didn't even want to bring in COVID because, you know, COVID. No, this was 18, 19, I think. One of those years.
I think you stayed for strike in 2019. But I'm just going to copy you and say, like, because honestly, most of my best and worst moments are all bundled together like a day. That sucks is really a very specific thing. So I would say so I got COVID in 2022, and I was told by my manager that I needed to leave and get off Playa, which was probably the responsible thing to do. It was going to be the first year I was going to watch the temple burn in forever. And instead, I sat by myself with a face mask on right outside of my box and saw it come up over the edges of the trailer. And then I fell asleep and had horrible dreams about leaving Playa all night. And then I got up and I finished packing up. I had someone in my fucking camp yell at me for how I was distributing water out of my cooler that had only held beer. It didn't have any fucking gray water in it. It was just ice water. And this random stranger in the camp that I was fucking in charge of was like, don't do it that way, whatever. And I'm like, I have COVID. Why are you even talking to me? And then I got in line for 12 hours. In Exodus on Monday.
Not a great day.
That was a pretty heinous day.
It was really bad. And it was so hot that you couldn't not run your air conditioner once it was past like 11:30 in the morning.
But you also couldn't keep your gas in your car then.
Right, exactly. And so I had to stop at the nearest gas station, which was an hour and a half long wait. It was, and then I got home and was like deeply depressed for months. So that was probably my worst day on Playa. A lot of that day was on Playa.
Yeah. My day was so similar to yours, but like offset by I think 6 hours.
I'm also going to say the day that dude ran into the man, that was a pretty terrible day.
Oh, that was awful.
And the next day was terrible. And they were also great days because the community came together to help support itself. But I don't know if I had, I don't know what my bestest, nicest day on Playa was. It's a liminal space. They're all the same day. They're all the same night.
Yeah, like my nicest times are these moments or these wanders or these they're not a whole day. I mean, days are like 8 days out there, so it's really hard to keep them in perspective as this has been a 24-hour period.
I could never tell you which awesome thing came after which other awesome thing unless they were in incredibly close proximity. Do you know how many days I've been out? Jesus Christ. So many days. I've been out there for months.
Oh, yeah.
I've passed into months. It helps when you go 3 weeks at a time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pile up, don't they?
They do.
Next question.
Is anyone worried about a population collapse in the city this year?
Nah.
That'd be great.
That was my response in the thread.
Yep.
I think it would be delightful if the last couple years were so hard and so unattractive to some people that they opt out. They nope.
If there was going to be a population collapse, then placement wouldn't have to be asking theme camps to take a year off.
Whoa.
Yeah, the placement is incentivizing theme camps to take breaks occasionally because the city sells out. Everybody wants to be there.
So it should be for our theme camps. So shall it be for our staff.
The reason it seems like that might be a thing is that tickets have gone from being beyond scarce commodity to just a scarce commodity. So you'll occasionally see bunches of tickets available for sale, which gives the impression that maybe they're available, that there's somehow unused capacity. But no, the city's going to stay full.
All right.
Not a problem.
I see. Beth, your opinion?
I really liked last year after the rains and everybody left and we stayed for strike and there was not that many people when we went to the burn and then the temple burn. That was a nice sized city. I'd be cool with that. I don't want to have to consider capitalism in this and say I would like it smaller.
I see. Thank you, Beth.
Next question.
Yeah.
Is Accuracy Third going to refresh the, quote, How to Survive Burning Man, unquote, the Vag or the Consent episodes? Would love to hear if you have new takes, etc. I'm going to say no.
I would do a consent ramble for our patrons.
We could do a consent burn barrel.
I have continued to investigate those concepts and figure out the best way for me and the way that I present them at Burning Man. I find that fascinating. I don't think it's worthwhile for everyone to listen to. But if you're fascinated by that stuff like I am, I would love to just go for a ramble about how consent works in our camp and in Not in general and at Burning Man. And like, I'm taking the education courses right now. Like, I'm looking deeper into consent culture at Burning Man than I have before when I was developing sort of the consent work for our camp. And so it's very fun. It's very fun. It's sad and depressing. It's interesting and engaging, and it's like really fascinating for my brain. But I don't think that many people want to hear it.
Well, if you do, it sounds like we're going to do that.
And I could see us expanding the vag some.
And we could.
Badge point one.
I think we could honestly ask the vag questions to every person that we interview. Mm-hmm. They're very simple. They're just like, what is the advice? What is the cultural, like, what is your favorite principle and why?
We could have had a list of questions all the way back in season 1.
Yeah, like, I think the vag is one of my favorite pieces that we've ever made because I think it's neat. And I think we could absolutely keep asking everyone we interview those important questions, like, what principle works for you? What is your advice for newbies? And, like, what is something you would tell someone about the culture? Mm-hmm. And stitch them together every year.
The survival guide, not so much.
No, read the survival guide.
Yeah.
It's accurate. They'll tell you about the cops in a specific, non-drunken way.
Our project is not being another avenue for Burning Man's language to get distributed. They already have their own podcast.
We genuinely started this podcast with the understanding that we weren't going to do This Is How You Burning Man. It's not Burning Man 101. It's people talking about their experiences there. And I was annoyed about us doing that. But, you know, they gave us gift tickets and I got to let my ex-boyfriend, who ends up is kind of shitty, go to Burning Man. So yay. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, listener.
Next question.
Yeah.
All right. On a lighter note, what is your favorite underwear to wear out there? I can go first.
All right.
I like gay boy underwear. I like the underwear that separates and lifts and presents. And I have...
Yes, you do.
I do. And I have these underwear that, like, they're all mesh in the back. They just breathe. Like, the wind wafts through. The wind wafts out. There is nothing but waft. They are my cooking pants at Burning Man.
I'm very similar. I it's not even underwear. It's like the whole thing is I like little sleep shorts that are very light and airy. I just want I want a breeze to help make my asshole less damp because it's always so damp. Everything else is so dry, but my asshole is so damp.
My asshole is never unhappier than when I am on Playa.
I'm a very strict boxer briefs man, and I will use Burning Man as an excuse to refresh my stock of boxer briefs. So I'm like tearing through several brand new packs before I resort to the ones that I brought with me, which are all of my nicer, newer boxer briefs. Mm-hmm. Then when I get home, I throw out all the scraggly ones.
Yeah, use the scraggly ones first. That's our advice that you didn't ask for.
That is
your oldest underwear on Monday, your newest underwear 2 Fridays from then.
That's precisely what I said, not exactly then or ever, because that's stupid.
But like,
shut up.
As lovely as having pretty slutty underwear is, which it is lovely, I have to say having a hormonal IUD so I don't have my periods anymore at all and not at Burning Man means that it's way more exciting for me to have slutty panties because I don't immediately ruin them.
Yeah, no period, nothing but breakouts. All right, that was fun.
Next question.
Most dangerous thing you've done on Playa?
Giant teeter-totter.
Giant teeter-totter more than when you decided to get on an oil barrel and pretend it was a mechanical bull?
Honestly, I think the most dangerous thing was probably that playground jump that I totally didn't expect to be to hard surface as opposed to a trampoline.
That oil barrel rodeo was
nothing but luck and inebriation that kept me safe in that case. The giant teeter-totter, I was 23, which I think is the only reason it saved me. it was like above your head. It was like 8 feet in the air. Your ass is 8 feet in the air and you just got flung up there. And then someone falls off the back and your ass is just falling 8 feet and smacking hard on the ground. I would say at least that's the one that caused me the most harm.
The wedge.
Did you do the wedge?
Damn straight.
The wedge was something else. I think it was more dangerous when you climbed up that 3-story trampoline thing that was held together with pipe.
That thing was fine.
But it ended up being fine.
Someone came out yelling, "No more than one person on top! No more than one person on top!" in the most scared voice I had ever heard.
Yeah, and Rex is 2 people already carrying another person on his shoulder. Yeah, that wasn't a galoot-rated structure. There's a bunch of dangerous stuff I've done on Playa.
I was more nervous about Captain's Tower than I was about the trampoline.
That was pretty horrifying.
Give.
Like the worst thing that would have happened on his tower is that he would have snapped an axle or one of his leaves, and that would have jolted us. But I was like holding on to the sides.
The worst thing that would have happened is that one of those leaves had snapped and then all of the lumber just sheared away.
Yeah, just like fell over to the side.
He's a carpenter or a handyman
onto the ground.
or a guy with a lot of wood in the back of a truck. So we should explain that because it's incredible. So a couple years we camped with this dude in our staff camp. And one year he brought a lot of wood and built a tower up out of the bed of his pickup truck that was like
3 stories tall.
3 stories tall.
Three full stories.
You stand on the back of the pickup truck and that's story 1.
Yeah.
And then you stand on the next story.
And that's where the hammock is. And then there's a story above that where people are like hanging out. It was he had built like a vertical slum out of plywood out of the back of his pickup truck. It was incredible. And we were all on top of it.
I thought it was really cool until like one too many people got on and I was like, oh, this is very unsafe.
Yeah. Like you can get up there, but like don't get up once you're up there. Just stay there. I've done a lot of dangerous things out there, most of them by mistake, because I try not to do super dangerous things out there because I'm a someone who gets hurt. But in general, I'm going to say the most dangerous thing I do out there is walking in one direction that I am not looking in. Like that's when I trip over a guy wire. The first art car I ever got on, when I was walking off it, I just like stepped in between like the side of the step and where the back wheel was.
Oh my God.
It wasn't moving or anything, but like my fucking foot dropped like 2.5 feet. I was out there for like maybe 12, 14 hours at that point and like nearly fucked up my ankle really bad. Always look where you're going. That's my advice no one asked for.
And anyone who has volunteered under DDay at certain points in his Burning Man work will know that he will shout that often at you.
It's the smartest thing to do, especially when you are working, like helping set up center camp. There's all of these vertical cables holding the shade to the ground, and like you're carrying things in between them, and other people are carrying things in between them, and there's heavy machinery sometimes. Boxes move every day, and so do piles of other stuff. You have to look forward if you are moving forward. If you are looking to the side, you should be moving to the side, or stop and look around. You're at Burning Man, you can just plant your feet, look around.
Next question.
All right. Couple left. You want the long one or the real useful one? The smart, respectful one?
Well, let's wrap up with a smart and respectful one.
Okay. This second to last question is from Jetpack Joel. Hi, Jetpack Joel. Nice to hear from you.
Jetpack Joel.
Love the latest squirrel episode. Long-time listener, first-time caller. So here's my question.
Waddle doodle.
What was the longest you ever went in an episode where you and the guest were completely misunderstanding each other? I ask because on my episode, Rogue Burn, you had made a great joke about how we are a non-campy camp, and I literally did not understand it, I think, until 6 weeks later. But in the episode itself, it's only about 15 seconds. Whereas in the episode, I think you were both misunderstanding what drones each other were talking about for like 45 full minutes. if I measured correctly. Joel, thank you for your question.
Now you know what it's like to hang out with DDay and Rex.
Something else was going on. First of all, I made a great joke about camp, and it didn't land in the room. And then when I'm editing something, like I get a secondary and a tertiary sadness of like hearing the same thing I said.
Do you know you can just
not land
copy
again.
paste laughs in? If
Yes,
you'd like
but
to?
Beth, that's cheating.
It's not. It makes for a better episode.
It makes for a better episode, but it is cheating as a person who made a joke, so it gets cut out.
We have different ethics and morals. Also, I usually give you guys laughs as opposed to give me laughs.
Thank you. I cut all of your jokes that don't land to keep you from embarrassing yourselves.
Bless
But
your
I could
heart.
make people think you laugh. I could make you think people laugh.
Uh-huh.
Hey, listeners, this entire medium is a lie. I am a liar. You are listening to me and Beth and Rex.
It's not lying. It's manipulation into thinking that we are as funny as we come off later.
That's art, baby!
My jokes land.
Your jokes get cut out a lot.
That's only because y'all are jealous.
So when we're talking to Squirrel, it was a while that I realized that I was talking about a different type of drone that she was talking about. And that might have been 45 minutes. That might have been things that happened right next to each other that for one reason or another to continue a story that we didn't continue earlier meant that like this other part got stretched apart really far. But I think we have had like full 2.5 hour long interviews where we have not understood each other between the cohort of interviewers and the interviewee.
I think that's more of a like ships in the night, lack of meeting of the minds kind of situation.
That is a great way to put it. I wasn't going to be able to phrase it like in any way that people would.
Told you my shit lands.
That wasn't a joke.
All of my bone mott.
I would say that first Xeno and Daddy Issues episode where they were shit can trashed and high on each other. I don't think I understood a single word they said that entire time.
Sometimes our friends come into the studio and don't complete sentences. And that's fine. We don't love our friends because of complete sentences. We love our friends because we're friends.
In an upcoming or maybe already published, because I don't know what order this shit comes out, episode also featuring Xeno.
That's gonna we're having Xeno July this year, everyone. We're getting a bunch of Xeno July, and then in August we're gonna have ships in the night.
I definitely misunderstood our guest speak the name of his band and wondered if he was talking about a specific Mike Judge movie, but that didn't last very long. It's just long enough for my joke to land.
But the point is, Joel, great interview. Sorry, see, the whole problem is I'm making jokes. I'm a jokester. I'm a chuck a minute. I'm swinging for the fences every time.
Yes, you are.
And people are here to tell like their heartfelt stories about Burning Man. And like, sure, my friends have come to realize that I am almost constantly doing a bit. But real people and people I've just met, there's no way they could know that.
This is why my jokes land. Because I actively listen, I give full generous attention, and then when the moment presents itself,
it's edited out.
Fucking nail them.
If I am not paying attention, your joke cannot possibly land.
The listeners get them.
I mean, everybody hears everybody else's voices as just like a droning bee hum, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's accurate.
I'll ask my doctor to up my meds. All right.
Next question.
Last question. Best question. Most impressive question anyone has ever asked, and one that I've never considered a listener asking us. If one were to recognize y'all randomly on Playa one year, what would be the best and kindest way to approach so as not to make it weird?
Aw.
Isn't that empathetic? Isn't that nice?
So
Isn't that good?
empathetic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Walk up, say hi, say you like the podcast. Don't be weird. Honestly, it's almost never been weird.
Yeah, it's never been weird. It's always just been a little bit overwhelming. Like the nicest thing to do is say hi, I like your stuff. It really is.
Bike
and
up
it makes our
silently
days.
on my right. Pedal. Hunch over your handlebars. Glide up. Whoosh.
It's never like uncomfortable because you're fucking up. It's uncomfortable because it's weird. Because we feel like we're hanging out in DDay's backyard with a series of friends, asking them about Burning Man, and it's weird sometimes that you know us. But it's always nice. The uncomfortable is just that part of it. It's always nice.
I'm going to say that, like, even when it is uncomfortable, I understand it's not going to be uncomfortable forever, and I like a good story. So I'm going to throw out a bunch of ideas, and you can choose whichever one you would like to do when seeing me on Playa.
Oh, I'm glad you have an assignment.
It's not an assignment. These are suggestions. Just throwing them out to the milieu. One thing you can do is just start talking to us like we have already been having a conversation with you.
Oh,
Like if the
we've
three of us
interviewed you.
are
We
just
won't remember.
talking, you just say like, just chime in. Just pretend you're doing the same thing we're doing. That'll be fun. Also, Beth, great idea.
Yeah. Hey, DDay,
when we're talking to you,
together.
like,
Just say that you've been on it. We'll
convince
all
me.
act like you have been because it's been almost 200 episodes and we don't remember all that much.
Yeah, that's very funny, Beth. That's
Yes.
very good. I would also accept like you from anywhere within eyeshot, dropping to your knees and shouting "my liege" over and over again.
Oh, just do that,
By the
please.
time that happens, I will completely have forgotten that I've suggested this. So I have a feeling that'll be funny as shit. I don't know.
Shock and horror.
Everyone just shouting like DDay or Beth at us when we're going places. It's a trip. It's a little nerve-wracking, but only because like we're not celebrities. We're just anonymous people who walk through our lives and don't have people like shouting our names at us that we don't already know.
And just like honestly, like it is weird, but it fucking makes our day. It's huge. Like it's so wild.
It's huge news. Everyone finds out.
It's wild to get a chance to impact the community and hear from you guys, and it's really neat to feel appreciated. So despite like sometimes our like weird horrified looks, but you have to be okay. You have to be okay with any of us being like, I'm very high and cannot handle this right now. You got to have the space in your heart for that.
But don't be shy. We won't be mean.
No.
At worst, we'll be shy.
Yeah.
But we'll have stickers and swag and shit. So you know,
Unless we forgot them all.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I'll just start
yes,
walking around my other two friends who are talking to you going, you don't know me. You don't know me. I'm not DDay. I'm just some guy named Darian.
But see, the thing is, I don't prefer to be perceived. So
I don't prefer to be perceived.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be like, hey, DDay, is that you? And I'll be like, stare at my knees. Don't look up past my knees.
come say hi. It's totally normal. We're fine. Don't make eye contact.
I don't talk to people unless they present me with only blue M&Ms. It's in my social writer. How do I know you're legit if you haven't already picked through a bag of candy for me?
And if we defecate ourselves in front of you,
And we might.
just have the decency to wait until we're walking away before you dip your hankies in our leavings to pass down for posterity.
No.
What do you carry tiny little jars in your bag for?
Gross.
Look, man, I don't call your samples gross. Don't call my samples gross.
Don't call my poop samples.
It is our great regret that none of us have any mucus handy to present you for a memento, but it is so dry.
It's my
We are so dry.
great regret we don't do more of these burn barrels. You remember how easy these are to edit? You don't. You never edited them. They're so easy.
It's only because I haven't talked about a lot in this one.
I gotta say, like, when I realized that there should be something beeped out, it is so delightful to open up the general resources folder
And
go down to episode like sounds and songs and pull out that beep.
beep.
Great. Well, those are all the questions that we were given on Discord. If you would like to join our Discord, a link that almost certainly works is in the show notes.
It always works when it works.
It has been working for like the past 3 episodes or so. But then someone said that it wasn't, but I think they were clicking on an old episode. In any case, it's not my fault. The point is,
you can on Discord.
our cats are on Discord. Beth is at accuracy3rd@gmail.com. Shout at her. If you can't get to the Discord where Rex and I are hanging out, go to burnernarc.com and dress yourself in a shirt that talks about Larry and his hat and his patron sainthood.
And come be on the podcast.
Come be on the podcast.
We know you want to. We know you're a little bit scared. You're a little hesitant, but we'll make it nice and easy for you.
We'll make it nice and easy for you. Rex, would you like to make it easy for our listeners and give them the Pay Pig update?
The Pay Pigs get great satisfaction out of taking care of us and you, the Accuracy Third community, by donating their disgusting money to our Patreon. If you are a nasty, gross little capitalist with way too much awful money, give it to us. You'll feel like maybe you're not a little piece of shit a little bit of the time.
Or maybe you'll feel more like a piece of shit, whatever gets you off.
If you give us $1, you can request that we finally watch Spark, a Burning Man story, and talk about it. Spark, a Burning Man story, and talk about it. Something I've been talking about for 4 or 5 years now.
Also, we all watched Couple to Thruple. And if you would like me and Emerald to submit the guys to talking about it a whole bunch, let us know.
I will talk about it a whole bunch.
Yeah, you want to hear our opinions on shitty polyamory? Because, God, I hope you do.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it right now.
Yeah. Let us know.
God.
We'll
And
play Spot the Psychopath. Hint, there might be more than one.
This day in ancient Rome, I would like to let you all know that Rome fell because of neoliberalism, and my favorite bird is an eagle. Beth, do you have something to hang your podcast persona on yet?
Do I need?
Is it just lady? Because Rex is doing the pay pig thing. I'm doing the alt-right Nazi thing. Are you just girl?
Billing.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I'm
Beth's-
the one that
Beth's still just girl.
validifies your heterosexual male listeners.
Hey, thanks for being mollified. This
You
has
don't
been
have to be
Accuracy
attracted to them. You can be attracted to me. It's okay.
Third. You can be attracted to us.
These burn barrels get weird.
I mean, it's late. And we're in the middle of watching this Kevin Spacey documentary.
Oh, man, is Kevin Spacey's dad used
Nazi.
to be a practicing Nazi.
Yeah.
Boy, is his
yes.
brother a fancy dresser.
Yes. When you started that, I had no idea that this was going to be more distressing than Crumb. Sure, I knew about the sex assaults, but like I was not prepared for the first 3 minutes and 5 seconds of that documentary.
Crumb isn't distressing. It's just kind of melancholy.
Unless you're like not into like envelopment.
I'm not someone who's into melancholy. Like I'm effusive and bright.
Yeah, your depression won't be melancholy. It'll be violent.
No, it's just art. When I'm happy, it's art. When I'm sad, it's art. It's just art.
Look, I'm not saying that Crumb's specific predilections aren't, yuckable and specific, but he's not a sex crim. He's just a dirty birdie with a pencil.
He's so much sweeter.
There's nothing wrong with a grown man who likes a girl with strong thighs.
And he has some weirdo brothers, and they made a very melancholy film. It's beautiful. Melancholy. Weird family.
Yeah. Not directed by Tim Burton. We learned that.
No. Directed by Jerry Swigoff.
See?
Great film. Watch Crumb.
And Jodorowsky.
Yeah. Watch El Topo and Crumb back to back. I dare you.
Ugh. Yeah. Ugh.